In a peaceful town surrounded by green hills and sunflower fields, there lived a 19-year-old girl named Elara. Elara was known as the quiet girl of the town. She spoke softly. She walked gently. She never interrupted anyone. Even when people argued around her, she remained calm like still water. Some people admired her kindness, but many misunderstood her silence.
She is too timid, they said.
She has no confidence. She will never survive in the real world. At school, louder students often spoke over her. In gatherings, people forgot she was even there. Her cousins joked that she was like a shadow. But Elara never hated anyone for it. Every morning before sunrise, she sat near the old lake outside town. She watched the birds glide over the water and listened to the wind brushing through the grass. Silence made her feel alive. It was the only place where her heart felt free. Elara lived with her father, a carpenter, and her younger sister, Clara. Their mother had passed away years earlier, and since then Elara had become quieter than before. One evening during dinner, Clara laughed and said, "Sister, why don't you ever speak more? Sometimes I forget you are even in the room." Their father looked at Elara with concern. "You must learn to speak loudly," he said. "The world listens only to strong voices." Elara smiled faintly, but inside, those words hurt her deeply. That night, she stood near the window staring at the moon. "Maybe they are right," she whispered to herself. "Maybe silence is weakness." From that day onward, she tried to change herself. At the market, she forced herself to speak louder. At family gatherings, she laughed loudly even when she didn't feel like laughing. She interrupted conversations just to be noticed. But every time she acted this way, something inside her felt uncomfortable. It was like wearing clothes that did not belong to her. One afternoon, while walking home from town, Elara saw a small crowd gathered near the road. An old musician sat beneath a tree playing a violin. But something was strange. He was not singing. He was not performing loudly. In fact, his music was soft and almost silent. Yet every person around him stood completely still. No one spoke. No one moved. Even the wind seemed to slow down. The melody was gentle, but it touched something deep inside the heart. When the song ended, people quietly placed coins into his basket and walked away with tears in their eyes. Elara stayed behind. The old musician looked at her and smiled. "You listened differently from the others," he said. Elara hesitated before replying. "I think your music spoke without shouting." The old man nodded slowly. "The deepest things in life are always quiet," he said. Elara sat beside him beneath the tree. For hours they talked. The musician's name was Rowan. He had traveled across many lands performing music in villages and cities. He told Elara, "People think power comes from noise. But noise only fills the air. Silence fills the soul." Elara listened carefully. Rowan picked up a small stone and dropped it into a pond nearby. Tiny ripples spread across the water. "Look closely," he said softly. The stone made no great noise, yet the water changed completely. Elara stared at the ripples. "Silence works the same way," Rowan continued. "Quiet people often change the world more deeply because they observe, listen, and understand." Those words stayed inside Elara's heart. Before leaving, Rowan handed her a small silver whistle. "It only works when blown softly," he said with a smile. "Too much force ruins the sound." Then he disappeared down the dusty road. Days passed, but Elara could not stop thinking about him. Slowly, she stopped forcing herself to be loud again. Instead, she began embracing who she truly was. At home, she listened carefully when Clara spoke about school problems. At the market, she smiled warmly at lonely people. When neighbors argued, Elara calmly helped them understand each other instead of shouting opinions. People began noticing something strange. Whenever Elara was around, conflicts became quieter. One rainy evening, disaster struck the town. Heavy storms caused the river near the hills to overflow. Water rushed toward the village streets. Panic spread everywhere. People screamed. Children cried. Animals ran wildly. The town leader shouted orders, but no one listened because everyone was too afraid. In the middle of the chaos stood Elara,
silent, calm.
observing everything. She noticed something others missed. An old bridge near the eastern road was still safe. If the villagers crossed there, they could reach higher ground. But the crowd was too loud and frightened to hear. Elara climbed onto a large stone near the center of town. Instead of screaming, she took out Rowan's silver whistle. Very gently, she blew into it. A soft, clear sound floated through the storm. It wasn't loud, but somehow everyone heard it. People turned toward her. Elara raised her hand calmly and pointed toward the eastern bridge. Her quiet presence cut through the panic more strongly than shouting ever could. One by one, people followed her guidance. Families crossed safely. Children were carried to higher ground. Even frightened animals followed the crowd. By midnight, the entire village was safe. The storm finally passed. The next morning, sunlight returned to the town. People gathered in the square speaking about the night before. "That quiet girl saved us," someone whispered. "I trusted her immediately," another said. There was peace in her eyes. For the first time in her life, Elara realized something important. Silence was never her weakness.
It was her gift.
Weeks later, the town leader visited her home. He offered Elara a position helping solve disputes and guiding village decisions. "You see things others miss," he told her. "And when you speak, people truly listen." Elara accepted humbly. Years passed. The quiet girl once ignored by everyone became one of the most respected people in the region. Not because she was loud, not because she demanded attention, but because her silence carried wisdom, patience, and peace. Children came to her for advice. Families trusted her judgment. Travelers stopped to hear her thoughtful words. And every evening, Elara still visited the lake. She would sit quietly beside the water as the sky turned gold. Sometimes she remembered the days when she believed she had to change herself to be accepted. And she smiled softly. One evening, Clara sat beside her and asked, "Sister, how did you become so strong?" Elara looked at the calm water before answering. "The world taught me to be louder," she said gently. "But life taught me that peace is stronger than noise." Dear friend, maybe you are like Elara. Maybe people misunderstand your silence. Maybe they think quietness means weakness. Maybe you've spent years trying to become louder just to fit into the world. But listen carefully. You do not need to shout to have value. You do not need to fight for attention to matter. Silence is not emptiness. Sometimes silence means you are thinking deeply. Sometimes it means you are healing. Sometimes it means you understand more than words can explain. The loudest person in the room is not always the strongest. A river makes noise when it is shallow. The ocean stays quiet because it is deep. So never feel ashamed for being calm, thoughtful, or quiet. Your silence may one day become someone else's comfort. Your calmness may guide people through storms. Your presence may heal hearts without a single loud word. And remember this, the world is already full of noise. What it truly needs is more peace. If this story touched your heart, please like this video and share it with someone who needs to hear this message today. Leave a comment below and tell us, have people ever misunderstood your silence? And if you want more meaningful stories about life, wisdom, peace, and personal growth, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and join us for the next journey. Until next time,
Stay calm.
stay true, and never underestimate the quiet strength inside you.